same thing. So work with me.
On one condition. I'm gonna kill them all.
Yeah, I can live with that.
The Punisher, Season 1. Alright, so The Punisher is the 6th Netflix show after Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Defenders. This is the 6th show. And it continues the story of Frank Castle after we saw him in the events of Daredevil Season 2. I was very much interested in watching this show. I absolutely love The Punisher in the 2nd season of Daredevil. I think it's the best version of The Punisher we have ever had. Not saying much, because those movies were terrible. And I was very much interested in watching The Punisher, this first season of The Punisher, because, you know, I absolutely loved him in Daredevil Season 2. I thought he had such a great dynamic between him. The dynamic between him and Daredevil, their conflicting ideologies is completely fascinating. And one thing I really enjoyed about the show, I do feel that, I've said this before, I think that the 2nd season of Daredevil is kind of a two-story season, because you have one part of it, you have the Punisher story, and the other part of the story is you have the Elektra, Daredevil, and the Hand stuff. I love the Punisher stuff, but I felt like they should have just focused on one thing, and it felt like they just wanted to introduce Jon Bernthal as the Punisher, but hell, Jon Bernthal as the Punisher was one of my favorite parts of that season. I do feel like you do need to watch Season 2 of Daredevil to watch the Punisher. Not saying it doesn't really, you don't have to watch it, but I think you do need to watch at least the Punisher parts of Daredevil Season 2. And once again, Jon Bernthal absolutely killed it. Jon Bernthal, I think, is one of the more underrated actors in Hollywood today. Because when he shows up in the movie, I absolutely love him in it. Like, he was in the most recent movie I saw him in was Wind River. Had no idea he was going to be in the movie, and I absolutely loved him in the movie. Everything he's in, The Accountant, Wolf of Wall Street, the first 2 seasons of Walking Dead, I think he's just a fantastic actor. And just his method acting you see in this show, it's just great. He's a man who's very conflicted. And that's one thing about this show. It's not what you think it's going to be. It's not going to be it's going to be the Punisher. He's going to run and gun a bunch of criminals, and that's what you're going to get. You want that, you need to watch Season 2 of Daredevil, because that's not what this show is about. This show is more of a psychological story of Frank Castle as he's trying to move on. He's got revenge for his family, but he realizes there's more going on than what actually happened. So he has to go on, once again, on one of these Punisher revenge missions. And the cast in this show was, I thought, great. I really liked the guy who played Micro. He had a really funny element to him. Because when you come up with a character with the Punisher, you're not going to get too many comedic moments. He's not going to be funny, but he adds in those little more lighthearted moments you kind of need in a 13-episode season. A lot of people were worried about Karen coming back for Punisher, and don't worry, she is not in the show much. I think she's in this season like maybe 4, maybe 5 episodes. And I love how they use Karen very sparingly, using her as a reporter, not as any love interest or anything. You do see there's a chemistry between Frank and Karen, but you don't ever really focus on it. I really like the Israeli Homeland Security agent. I really like that they use Homeland Security, because we've seen all kinds. We've seen CIA, we've seen DEA, but I don't think I've ever remember seeing Homeland Security in a TV show before. So I really liked her, and I really liked that she was Middle Eastern, because it makes it for a little more interesting, just with the things they're doing. The show does handle a lot of elements to it. You have gun violence in there in a world right now where we have a gun violent thing happen every other week. And I thought they handled it as well as they really could. The show got pushed back probably because of the most recent shooting in Las Vegas. Even though you don't really see any of that in this season in this show of Punisher so far. I really like the guy who played Jigsaw, though. I thought he did a really good job. Apparently he was the guy who played Chris Cassian in the Chronicles of Narnia. I enjoyed him in this movie. And there's just some other things I really liked about the show. And like I said, I like the story in this show. I think it does it's very story heavy. It's more story heavy than I ever thought. I was expecting to see a couple episodes, Punisher trying to get revenge, and him just wiping out some people. But no, there's a lot of story in this. and I think it really handles well about stories about post-traumatic stress disorder. It talks and does some other great stuff in this show. And if you like The Punisher, if you like the Netflix series, I think this is the second best show I've seen so far. I think Daredevil season 1, I think is the best season of the Netflix series we've got. But I would rank this right under that, and then probably Jessica Jones. But I absolutely love this show. I wore my Punisher shirt, and very great show. Good job, Netflix. I'm looking forward to seeing what y'all do in season 2 of Punisher. So, guys, have you seen Punisher? What are your thoughts? Comment below, let me know. And, guys, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button. Subscribe to see more. Tell your friends about Easy Nation. All too easy.